So here's something that should terrify everybody. Agreeing with Shady, which I did today. I put up a community tab, busting SWV's balls about some Trump shit. And Shady hits me with, it's all bullshit and it's all theater and blah, 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 which I, of course, 100% agree with. I've always said that. However, regardless of who you support or don't support, if you're a person that agrees that a governor of a state should have the authority, just because it's flu season, to send his goons by your house, and if you happen to be standing on your own porch or in your own yard, light you up with paintballs, you can go fuck yourself. If you're a person that believes that a fucking man in a dress has the right to use the ladies' room, where, my fucking 11-year-old niece might be in there. If you believe that's okay, real fucking talk. Just open your fucking wrists and die. Real fucking talk. I don't want to share the planet with people like that. And I know Trump ain't going to change none of that shit. He's really not. He's not going to save this country. This country can't be saved. I believe it's already gone. It was fucking gone a long time ago. But yeah. It's terrifying. But I agree with Shady on this one. Now enough of that bullshit. Let's get into something really spooky. Used to be. Okay, so what you're listening to is a recording of something called Operation Wandering Soul. Mueller might know what this is. I doubt anybody else will. Maybe Fear, maybe. Operation Wandering Soul was it was an idea that was put forward by Lieutenant Colonel Michael Aquino. Now, full disclosure, Michael Aquino was second in command in the Church of Satan. He was second only to Anton Szandor LaVey, the good doctor. You might have seen Michael Aquino back in the 80s during the Satanic Panic, when, Gerardo and Phil Donamule and who was that bitch with the red-rimmed glasses? Sally Jesse Donatello. Yeah. All those shows. During the Satanic Panic. Michael Aquino Nicholas Schreck, Zena LeVay, they would all go on these shows and get torn to pieces. Because back then they thought, there was this shit they thought that this shit called satanic ritual abuse was real. And they thought, the Church of Satan was doing away with babies and animals and things of that nature. And they went on these shows to defend the Church of Satan. Anyway, you'll notice Lieutenant Colonel Aquino right off the bat, because he's the guy with the eyebrows. The pointy fucking eyebrows. Mr. Spock looking motherfucker. I shouldn't call him a motherfucker, but, it just sounded good. Used to be. So in Vietnam, Michael Aquino worked with a psychological operations unit. And his idea was to make as many Viet Cong and North Vietnamese throw down their guns and surrender without firing a shot. How do you do that, you might ask? Well, turns out that the Vietnamese happen to be very superstitious people. And they have an absolute horror, an absolute fear of getting killed, dying, and not having a proper burial, or not having a proper funeral. And in their way of thinking and in their belief, if that happens to you, like if you're murked out on the battlefield and you just lay there and rot, then you become what they call a wandering soul. And when that happens to you, you just wander the earth. You never get to go to the other side. You never get to see your loved ones again. You're basically a ghost that wanders the earth for all eternity. They're terrified by that. So the idea that Lieutenant Colonel Aquino had was, let's get some big fucking speakers, the biggest, loudest fucking speakers we can get. And we'll put them on these helicopters and we'll fly them way up high. Turn all the fucking lights off, and we'll do this in the middle of the night. And then we'll blast this ghost at them. That's what you're listening to. In the beginning of it, it's the little ding ding. That's a Buddhist funeral procession. But then the guy you hear talking in Vietnamese, what he's basically saying is, throw down your weapons, surrender, and you'll be treated fairly, and you won't become a wandering soul like me. And believe it or not, this actually worked. It didn't save, the 50,000 GIs that got killed over there, but it did save some people, because quite a few Viet Cong and quite a few North Vietnamese did surrender because of this. It scared the dog shit out of them. Which, yeah, we'll continue in a second. Used to be.
Tôi đã chết rồi mà con bay ơi. Tôi thẳng thắn phá hang đến chừng nào. Các bạn của tôi ơi, tôi trở về để nói cho các bạn biết rằng tôi đã chết. Nếu phải, địa ngục tiếp tục thật là oan uổng. Một lần hơn nữa. Nhưng lúc tôi biết thì đất ác buồn rồi. Các bạn cần thế, cần con người các bạn gặp được niềm tin yêu của các bạn. Các bạn tin hay đừng nói. Trở về đi. Trở về các bạn. Muốn nói đi. Giết các bạn đi. Lừa đảo các bạn.
Yeah, he's saying, lay down your weapons. There's still a chance that you can be reunited with your loved ones when you die. It's actually a brilliant fucking plan. If used on the right people. Used to be.
Nếu không thì phải tránh được cái tình cảm thương như tôi. Trở về đi các bạn ơi. Để không thì quá muộn rồi, quá trễ rồi. Trở về đi. Về đi. Về đi các bạn ơi. Về đi. Về đi.
Okay. We're at the Junior Mart, and of course I'm going to dedicate this Junior Mart to the late, great Dr. Lieutenant Colonel Michael Aquino. Full disclosure, a lot of you are going to Google this guy, and you're going to see some repugnant shit said about him. Trust me, it's not true. It is not fucking true. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah. In a roundabout way, you have to credit the Church of Satan for saving some lives in Vietnam. On both sides. On both sides. Because if you think that, the United States Army is where Dr. Lieutenant Colonel Michael Aquino, learned all this theatrical production and this ooga booga stuff. No. He learned all that shit in the Church of Satan. He learned it from the good doctor. Because that's what the good doctor was. First and foremost, the good doctor was a showman. He played the organ. Pause. He played the organ in a tent. What the fuck was that shit? They used to be at like carnivals and circuses back in the day. You'd go in, there'd be a guy playing a fucking pipe organ. And he was a hell of a fucking musician. But, he was also quite the showman. Like, that's what he liked to do. He liked to put on a show. That's what people don't get about it. We're not going to get into all that. But, yeah. This stuff you're listening to right here, please believe it. The good doctor had a hand in it. As well as the lieutenant colonel. So, yeah. Swole. Rest in peace, Lieutenant Colonel Aquino. He passed away a few years ago from some... Well, he actually offed himself, but he was ate up with cancer, and he didn't want to go through all that bullshit, so he just... I don't have a problem with that. Used to be. Now, before I get the fuck out of here, let me hit you to one more thing real quick. If you think I'm bullshitting about Operation Wandering Soul, look up something called Operation Popeye. They did some funky shit in Vietnam, folks. Operation Popeye is where they actually seeded the clouds above the Ho Chi Minh Trail. And they caused torrential rains to fall on the Ho Chi Minh Trail to, slow down the logistics of the Viet Cong and the North Vietnamese. Look the shit up. And then ask yourself, if they were doing this kind of shit back during Vietnam, what the fuck are they doing now? That's all. Go fuck yourselves.